If you're wanting to be stopped on the street because of the fragrance that you're wearing, then listen up, because the 10 that I'm gonna share with you today did that for me. Hey friends, Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope you're doing well. You do need to be aware that there are some potential drawbacks if you're being stopped for your fragrance. Forced into interactions with strange people everywhere you go. They won't leave you alone, they're gonna invade your private space. Your significant other gets jealous, thinks that you're doing it on purpose. Instant fights, possible divorce. You're delayed everywhere you go because people are constantly coming up to you, asking you what you're wearing. Bro, I just wanna use the bathroom in peace, please. This is weird. Those weird strangers, now they think that you're their best friend. They start trauma dumping on you. And of course, you can't go stealth. Wherever you are, office, work, shopping, people know you've arrived. So think about it. Now, most of the fragrances I'm sharing with you today, I have had for a while. And that's because, believe it or not, being stopped by strangers in public is not a common occurrence. And also, it's gonna depend on how often you go out. If you stay inside all day, if you're at home 6 days out of the week and you just don't leave the house, you're probably never gonna have anybody say anything at all. And a lot of the time, if people are saying something, it's people you know, whether it's at work, or it's a significant other, or a friend, or an acquaintance, or whatever. So keep all that in mind. All right, the first one up is this, Le Beau Le Parfum. This one has been a consistent compliment puller for me ever since I started wearing it heavily, which by the way, that's also gonna factor in. You wear a fragrance once and then you're like, dude, I didn't even get any compliments, bro. Bruv, I wore it to Walmart and I went in there, I was looking for Pokemon cards. I was gonna sell those online. They didn't have any. And I didn't even get one compliment. That sucks, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. Le Beau Le Parfum though, this stuff for me, certified. It works pretty much every time. It is sweet, it's fresh, it's decently heavy, so it's gonna project, it's gonna last. It's got this creamy, tropical sweetness that people just love. Also a little bit of a fresh nuance in there as well. Middle of summer, for me, it's a little bit too heavy, but like spring, fall, winter, daytime or nighttime, this stuff absolutely crushes. So if you are after attention, Le Beau Le Parfum, one of the things you need to have on your radar. Of course, the other Le Beau fragrances work extremely well also. So Paradise Garden, the Eau de Toilette. Flower Edition is sweet and fresh, actually fresher than the others, but it's also a little bit weaker than the others. So if you're just after like straight up attention, one of the other three in the line probably gonna be better for you. And if you're after the strongest of the bunch, for me, it's that one right there. Then a clone. There are only a couple clones in today's list. This one is the Brune. Yes, liquid Brune. This one is a clone of Altair by Parfums de Marly. Also great for this, for attention grabbing, getting stuff. Please pay attention to me, my parents didn't. That's not what these fragrances scream at all. Liquid Brune, this stuff, really, really well done. Extremely popular in the realm of clones. This one's fall, winter time, daytime or evening. Maybe leans a little evening use for some people out there. Real sweet, real warm, spicy as well. So in terms of notes, you have cinnamon in here, you have vanilla, good amount of it, along with praline, ambroxan, cardamom, orange blossom, and some woods as well. It smells great. It really is very, very good. For the price point, low 30s nowadays, it's nuts. And this is one of those deals where, yes, it's cheap, but with it being a clone, it smells very similar to a niche scent, so it's gonna stand out a little bit against some of the very popular designers. And so people, when they smell this stuff, they just go crazy for it. And if you want to, you can be a little liar, a little pants on fire bro out there and just tell them, oh yeah, this is a Parfums de Marly. And then you don't even pull up the discounter pricing, you pull up the full retail pricing. Go ahead and show them that. You know, just a little subterfuge. Just a little bit of that skullduggery going on. I just wanted to say skullduggery. I don't even care that it wasn't used necessarily properly. It's a cool word. Keeping it really sweet, the next one is an abomination of a bottle because I very stupidly got the largest size, which I've done before because it was a good deal. And then after I get it in, I'm like, it doesn't matter that it was a good deal. I'm never gonna wear this, not the whole thing. God, I've gotten a handle on it. Like nowadays, I'll be like, I'll buy the 50 mil, but yeah. Invictus Victory. I will say these Invictus bottles are not good looking when they are stretched. It just looks stupid. But, you know, whatever. So as I said, we are in the sweet category once some more. Once some more, I'm Mario now. Oh, once some more. It's got a lot of vanilla in here, along with tonka, touch of citrus, a little bit of like an incensey touch as well, you know, kind of wafting through there. And this, when it came out, oof, I loved it. Yeah, way different than the other Invictus fragrances. I'm a big fan of vanilla. There's a ton of it in here. It has like a touch of a sparkly aspect to it. During fall and winter, people absolutely adore this stuff. Now, Victory Elixir that came out afterwards, I like even more. But Victory, this stuff, I was wearing it out when it was new before Victory Elixir came out. And it's one that I had a lot of luck with, so yeah. So, yeah. Now, I hate to do this to you, but the next one, everybody owns. But the reason everybody owns it is because it does stuff like what this entire video is about. So yeah, it's Dior Sauvage Eau de Parfum. Look, I know that you know that I know that you know that Dior Sauvage is everywhere, and it is. If you're looking for something really different, that's not this. But it is an insane people pleaser. You can wear it pretty much whenever you want. Yes, even during summer, although it's not like a typical summertime fragrance, that's for sure, because it is decently strong and has a solid dose of vanilla. Again, yeah, I don't know, man, I can't. You put vanilla in there, you got me. Not always, to be fair, I guess. There are a couple fragrances that have vanilla that I'm just not really down with, but for the most part, it makes a good first impression. So Sauvage Eau de Parfum gonna be smoother than the Eau de Toilette. Not quite as aggressive, not quite as in your face. It has that ambroxan still going on, but reined in a little bit. Has a great, as I said, vanilla as it dries down. Versatile, easy to wear, anytime. Now the next fragrance is one of my most complimented ever, but before we hop to that one, I want to hop to some codes. Hop to codes. You see what I did there? It's pretty fun. So here they are. The JOMASHOP ones only work within the app. The Gift Express one, you need to know, 15% off if you spend over $250, otherwise 10% off. Then of course the perfume box, fantastic discounter, and many other codes from many other stores. The next scent is the one by Dolce & Gabbana, and it's the Eau de Parfum. This stuff works, okay? It works. Now, the drawback for this, as has always been told, is the performance. It is easily the weakest of the ones that I've shared with you so far, but it's not that bad. The Eau de Parfum has decent longevity. The projection, you know, moderate, maybe ever so slightly below moderate, but it's okay. For this type of scent anyway, because this is a date night monster. Tobacco, fresh spices, warm spices, sweet spices, just kind of warm, sweet with a touch of fresh all throughout. It is stunning in the air. It still smells new, especially with how many sweet scents have come out here lately. You can work this right in there. So don't write this one off immediately just because the performance is not insane. Do understand that while, yeah, it's a fall wintertime fragrance, if you want it to project a little bit better, last a little longer, you may need to go heavy on the trigger. But one of the best things about this fragrance is how magnetic it is. It's that type of scent where it doesn't necessarily smack somebody in the nose and go like, hey, notice me, which some of these over here do. This one more so just lingers, and it just kind of gently goes out there and touches people. That sounds creepy. But when they smell it, they go, wait a sec, what is that? Is that you? And then they wanna, you know, come in for a closer whiff. That's what this one does really well, which is also one of the reasons it's so good on dates. You don't necessarily wanna overwhelm the person you're with on a date. You want them to, you know, feel drawn to you. Magnetic, as they say. We move on now to a fresher scent, one with a really modern style to it, even though it's been out for a while. Guilty Black, which is now known as Guilty Essence. Bottle color and everything stayed the same, they just changed the name up because, I don't know. They decided after a really long time, maybe the name should be different. Whatever floats your boat, Gucci. So this one has caught flack over the years for being too boring, too safe, too this, too that. But if we're talking about stuff that people like, normal people, this is amazing. It's fresh, a little bit sweet, very clean, has obviously a green edge to it. That's where the green on the bottle comes from. And it kind of fits in with like what's really popular right now. You know, YSL Myself, things like that. It doesn't smell the same as Myself. That's not what I'm saying, but it's in like the same style to an extent. Like I said before, fresh and clean with orange blossom. That's gonna kind of tie it in a little bit with fragrances in that overarching family of Myself. This one though with coriander and lavender smells great. Obviously leans, as I said before, more green than any of the other scents, kind of following in that wheelhouse. But as far as versatility, compliment factor, all that stuff goes, Gucci Guilty Black, top notch. Excuse me, Gucci Guilty Essence. It's like with Paco Rabanne becoming Rabanne, as you forget sometimes. When it's been something for years and years and years and years and years, and then they just go, actually, it's different now. But why? Because I can, that's why. That's why. Oh, thank you, that's very informative. All right, the last clone in the video is this one, Tarothi Blue by Afnan. This is Bulgari Tiger, only way cheaper. That sounds pretty good. I like the sound of that, yeah. Bottle has always annoyed me because it's kind of like that. You gotta make sure you really sit it down firmly. Very solid longevity for a summertime scent. A lot of citrus in there, so you do have to enjoy citrus, but that's how Tiger is, so not a surprise. You also have some musk, amber, woods, touch of spices in there as well, but really it's centered around that citrus, and all the other notes just kind of fill it out, you know, give it more depth, a little more complexity, more nuance. Amazing for spring and summer. Great daytime fragrance. And as I kind of mentioned, citrus a lot of times with fragrances, if it's centered around citrus, it's not gonna linger, it's not gonna last, it's just gonna kind of crap out. This one, you don't have to worry about that, and that's one of the reasons it is so successful. That and the fact that it's cheap and smells like something that's not. So that probably helps too. Let's go even stronger next. Yes, one more stronger with Stronger With You. Absolutely. So this is one of those lines where you can pretty much put them up on a dartboard, like any of the fragrances, and just blindly throw darts, and you're probably gonna hit something that people love. The original, Intensely, Absolutely, Parfum, Stronger With You Leather, all of those, great choices. And if you wanted something a little bit different for spring and summer, you could go Stronger With You Only. That one kind of completely overlooked nowadays, but whatever. To me, this one stands out just a little bit more than Stronger With You Intensely, at least off my skin, because it's slightly more unique. You have rum in here along with vanilla, once again, a good amount of it. Chestnut, cedar, lavender, elemi as well. Really well done scent. Has this nice boozy, almost slightly syrupy sweetness, while at the same time being cozy and sexy. Really good performance. And it could also potentially remind you of a decent number of other fragrances, just little bits and bobs. Like I said, it's unique, it's kind of doing its own thing, but at the same time, it's in the ballpark with a bunch of other scents. The Most Wanted, By the Fireplace by Maison Martin Margiela, the other Stronger With Yous to an extent, 1 Million Elixir. So if you like any of those fragrances, you'll probably like this one, and then once you get into it, you can start to kind of pick out the differences here between this and those. A YSL up next. Why? Eau de Parfum Intense. Now I have to say, the Y that probably has gotten me the most compliments was Y Live, but that one is pretty much gone. Like, you can't really find it anymore. In the US anyway, like FragranceNet has, I think, a decant of it or something. It's like, oh, how helpful. Y Live though, that stuff, just for me personally, it was really good, and just never caught on apparently, so. Touch of death. Sorry, Y Live. Y Eau de Parfum Intense. This one is, you know, it's similar to a bunch of the other Y fragrances, which makes sense, but it's also a little more mature, a little more sophisticated, a little more aromatic than some of the other Y fragrances. Not quite as sweet, but it does still have the Y sweetness in there. So what that means is you can use this one really easily in more dressy situations if you wanted to, but obviously with it being a Y, it's gonna work in pretty much any situation. It's just with that sweetness reined in a little, and then the slightly more mature touch, it does give it more versatility in certain situations where maybe you wouldn't want quite as much sweetness. And it works just as well as the other Y fragrances, just as well. And this is another line, kind of like the Stronger With You. You can really wear just about any of them, and you're gonna be in good shape. Last fragrance, Ultramall. I've actually gone through a full bottle of this one. This is my second bottle technically, and it is right there. Now I haven't been wearing it as much as I used to, but back years ago, this was one of my wife's favorite fragrances in the world. So it got a pretty good amount of play. Yeah, I was wearing it decent amount. Now, there are a bunch of clones to this one, of course, so like if you don't want to spend as much money, you can get cheaper alternatives. Most popular one is going to be Afnan's 9 p.m. It's one pretty much everybody knows. Rayhan Lion is another good one. That one's a little stronger than 9 p.m. Depending on your taste, you may like one more over the other. But this is one of those pinnacle fresh plus sweet fragrances. That's why it works so well. The sweetness is fantastic. As soon as you spray it on, really attention grabbing. It lingers all the way through into the dry down. The pear off the top, people love. But it does have enough freshness where it has a little more versatility than it sometimes gets credit for. And it's tied in a little bit with the original Le Male as well. So when you smell this one, if you're familiar with that one, you can pick up a lot of the nuances from that in here too. So there it is. These fragrances right here, all of these have been conversation starters for me in the past. Let me know in the comments below if there's ever been a fragrance that's gotten you stopped, whether it's something really popular like Sauvage or Ventus or something lesser known. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.